I almost just left the browser. Like,
Yeah, it's different not having an app. Like I was browsing last night and like I was in weird places. All right. So we are back on a tool that we used years ago,
123.
which is CleanFeed. And we're giving it another go. See if the audio quality is different. Be curious if
We'd love to
anybody
know if you
notices
use this.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So CleanFeed is recording the course in the browser, and you have to save periodically just to make sure you don't lose your recording, which is, relatively okay.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
CleanFeed, can't you just say for me?
I mean, it could. What was I don't remember how Riverside did it, but I do know Source Now Connect, when we use that, it would automatically save. So even if you dropped out and came back, you still had a local recording.
Yeah, so Riverside, when you're done recording, so it's constantly uploading a saved version, but when you're done recording, it takes like 15, 20 seconds, and it finishes the upload of each person's recordings.
Yeah, okay. So I use CleanFeed, and that means I have to remember to save periodically, although they do have alerts now in the browser that tell you, like, hey, you may want to save now, which it didn't used to do that a few years ago. As my backup recording, I am routing, so I'm using Loopback as set up a Loopback device that has a couple of different, so Loopback is interesting because you can kind of put virtual devices inside of a virtual device, which is what I've done. So there's a device is called CleanFeed, but inside what the sources for that device are all other virtual devices. And I have those mapped to channels. So for example, there is the virtual device that pulls my mic from channel 1 of my USB interface. There's one called CFMB, which is CleanFeed Michael Babcock, or Mickey B if you're on the other side of the pond, apparently. And did I lose your mic?
Oh, I laughed and you didn't hear it because I was muted.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what happened to Mike? So in that device, so that's all a part of a CleanFeed device, and like I'm routed to channel 1 of that device, and Mike's virtual device is routed to channel 2. I also have a couple other virtual devices in there for guests. So in Reaper, that CleanFeed device, which is kind of, think of that as like your overall interface, that is the input output for Reaper. So on track 1 is me, and that's pulling from track 1 of the device, which would be the virtual device that has my microphone. Track 2 is Mike, and in CleanFeed with their aux feature, which you only get if you're paying for Pro, I do think they have a trial of Pro now. I didn't quite check on that in too much detail. But anyway, you can set up these AUX devices. And so I have Mike set up to feed out to his virtual device from CleanFeed. Now I'm hearing Mike just directly through the browser, but it's sending an additional channel of Mike's audio down to that virtual device, which is channel 2 of the virtual mixer. And that is set to track 2 in Reaper. So Mike's being recorded in Reaper on track 2. I'm being recorded on track 1. And I have an additional stereo channel that is at the very end of that virtual mixer device, which are channels 9 and 10 that are set for Reaper to be the output. So that's where the master out goes to, and I have that just connected to my audio interface as the output. So that way we're able to have a relatively decent backup recording. And I can do what I just did, which is drop a marker in Reaper, which probably ain't gonna make any sense because I'm probably just gonna send Mike the CleanFeed file. So I don't know why I did that, other than I was in Reaper.
Yeah. Remember, CleanFeed has markers now too, though.
Yeah, but it's a process.
It is. Now, my setup is I'm using CleanFeed in Safari, which is weird to me. Because yesterday when I was trying to use it in Google Chrome, I couldn't hear Demasi for some reason, and I'm not sure what that was related to. And we're recording an hour later than we normally do, so I just wanted to jump into something that I knew had worked and get that up and running so we could get this going. But I also I had 2 audio hijack sessions open. One of which was my web recorder, so it would record content from the web. Great feature of audio hijack. Just saying, love that feature.
Yep.
And so I hit Command R on that and started running it. And then as Demasi was talking, I'm like, let me go look at this. And I went and looked and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not capturing my audio. So I hit Command Grave Accent. That put me in the podcast recording and it had my mic and Safari. So I hit Command R on that. And then I had two versions of Demasi coming into my headphones. I hit Command Shift Grave Accent or Command Tilde, and then Command R to stop the first version of the recording. So now we both have backup recordings for this episode, which makes me feel better. We have not. There's some real wood. We have not needed the backup recordings, but it's insurance.
It's better to have them and not need them.
Yes, a lot of times you pay/get insurance and you hopefully don't need it.
Yeah, because you can always delete the backup files once we know the original, the primary worked. But if for some reason there's a glitch in the primary, well, hey, we got these backups and they're there because you can't create them once you're done. All you can do is re-record the whole show.
Well, actually, you can, because remember that Source Element Source Connect Now episode? I think DM 19, maybe in 19 or 20, where I closed my laptop because someone came before it finished uploading the audio, and I had to go in and dub my audio back into the show. That was painstaking and tedious.
I've had to do that before too, and it is
not fun.
It's easy in a sense of like Reaper makes it kind of easy to do. At least the way I did it, because I had to punch in, and I had to punch in between two people. So like it just depended on, I had to find the spots in the conversation where I said something and try to remember what I said close enough for it to make sense in the overall content. But yeah, I just was running a recorder and playing their audio, and then I would pause and then I would punch in, and of course I would talk too long, so then it would overlap somebody's stuff. I was like, nope, take two, take three. Okay.
Yep. I don't.
The worst part about
it can be done.
The worst part about it in that situation for me is a couple of times I actually said something that somebody said, like, I don't know, 90 seconds after that. So then I would have to, let me go clip out where I said that part, because apparently I didn't say that. Somebody else said it. I was like, gosh.
Backup recordings, people. Backup recordings.
Always have a backup. Figure out some way to do it. Even if you're using something, and one very simple way, like you don't have to, even if you're on like say you don't have audio hijack, you don't have Reaper or anything, like you can't do it in the way that it's being done here for either of us, based off your setup. Like most audio interfaces have outputs. So find the appropriate cable for whatever device you're going to use as a backup. So for example, I have a H5 Studio right here in reach. I could connect this to my audio interface and just send the audio down. Now, in that case, it wouldn't be the best. Well, it would have to be a backup of me primarily, because otherwise it would have me and Mike on the same track, which is absolutely not what we want. Sometimes you take those, everybody on the same track recording as a backup just in case, because hey, that's better than having no content at all. But you can always hook up a device to your interface and have it as an outboard recorder. There's also, if you're using something like a Zoom H, any Zoom that you can connect to your computer, you could also run your backup recording on the Zoom, which I've done quite a bit when I've been in mobile recording mode. That would always be my backup. I wouldn't even open Audio Hijack because I'm already sitting there with a thing that can record right there, and it's just press a button. So GPT-5 is out. We got to talk about it real quick.
Yeah. Before we talk about it, though, thank you, tip jar subscribers. We greatly appreciate you. I don't know if you got the bonus content yet, or if I need to put that together or whatnot, but we have some bonus test content for you. So keep an ear out for that.
By the time this goes live. So
okay. Good.
There's some bonus content coming up, but it won't be there by the time this episode is live. But it'll be there.
But our tip jar subscribers are amazing. We appreciate
They are. We appreciate you. Absolutely.
And
you are the best.
The listeners.
See, there's always that little slight weird thing where you're like, oh, I really think my and I guess every podcast that has a paid membership level or something, has a kind of struggle with that. But seriously, we appreciate the tip jar subscribers because they're supporting the show financially. And as their support continues to come in, that will allow us to do some things that maybe we wouldn't be able to do, or we would have to think hard about doing when it comes to the finances of it. We appreciate everybody who listens, because if you didn't listen, then there would be no reason for us to do a show. And we look at the numbers. And I mean, we would probably talk, but we probably wouldn't go through all this elaborate recording and backup recording setup. We just hop on the phone and have a conversation and then tell the NSA to send it to us.
Or just say never on our own now that we can do that finally in Apple, because,
Well, yeah, there's that. I hadn't played with that. Why don't they ever
send it to us?
I don't know, man. I guess they don't want us to know that they're actually listening. That would be an admission that they're actually listening when they're technically not supposed to be. But hey, I wouldn't say anything. It's just like, man, look, it's great content that has
GPT-5.
Yeah, GPT-5. Maybe it can get in touch with the NSA and get them to send us the audio.
Ooh, almost make it do agent mode on that and be like, all right, reach out to the NSA for me. Tell them I need my conversations.
Yeah. How fast do you get banned from ChatGPT? So GPT-5, I honestly had it the day of. Like I heard, so let's see. How did this go for me? JJ dropped a link in Slack to the YouTube stream. I was like, oh, okay, that's out. And then I opened GPT on the phone like maybe a few hours later to do something, and like it was on GPT-5, and I was like, I don't know what you're doing. Actually, no, I tried to run a thing. I tried to do a quick thing, and then I noticed it was on GPT-5, and then it was taking forever to come back with an answer. I was like, let me switch to an old model, because I bet everybody's trying to hit the GPT-5, and I realized I could not switch to a different model. It's just GPT-5 all the time.
It is all GPT-5.
And interesting, but hold on, let me go reload that page, actually.
Which page?
Not the page that we're in. Yeah, I was making sure I was in the right page. Because I noticed today that I had a window open in Chrome with ChatGPT, and it actually wasn't showing me GPT-5. Hold on, let's start anew.
So, if that happens to you, what I have found that you have to do,
that fixed it. It just reloaded the page, because it was an existing page that was already open. Like it was an existing chat that was already open. And when I started a new chat, it still was kind of in that state. So like the page itself didn't refresh. It just opened up a new conversation without resetting anything else.
Yeah. So I had to delete my cache and cookies for it to show even after exiting my browser. And I had to make sure I was logged out and logged back in. And then it finally showed up on my computer. Now, interestingly,
you use Edge.
Interestingly enough, on Windows, I was like, I wonder if the ChatGPT app had it, and it had it a lot sooner than I was able to get in the browser. Now you have GPT-5 flagship model and GPT-5 thinking, get more thorough answers. Not quite sure what the difference is, because GPT-5 flagship model also thinks. So maybe it thinks harder or something.
I don't know. See, they need to just stick to what they think, because initially, and I know people didn't like it. There are a lot of people that don't like it. I haven't played with it enough to know whether I like it or not. When I asked it, it went GPT-5 when I asked it that question last night. Or it could have been, actually, when I asked the question last night. But at any rate, initially it looked like it was just GPT-5. And then apparently for Plus users, I think we will have the ability to go back to 4 or one of the 4 models. Although I don't see that here now, but I do see the flagship model 5 thinking. Now it's GPT flagship model 5 thinking, and then GPT-5 thinking get more thorough answers. So I'm a little confused. Why don't we just stick what it's supposed to do for everybody, and everybody gets this, which is cool. Like everybody gets it, even the free people. But what's at least the GPT-5, what it's supposed to do is, based off your query, determine which version of the model it would be best to answer the question. So whether it's a coding question or it's a search the web type of question or whatever it is. But yeah, now there's two options here. So that's they need to get it together, man. Figure out what you're going to do and stop changing your mind after the fact. Because the internet doesn't like it. I should try generating an image now. But you have actually been using this, and I think you probably have been most likely. So I'm assuming this is also showing up in Copilot.
Yeah, this is showing up in GitHub Copilot, kind of. So you actually have to go to github.com, sign in, click on your account, click on Copilot, and then enable the GPT-5 preview as a model that you want available. Then restart VS Code, and then it'll show up in your dropdown. It'll go from 11 items to 12 items. And once you pick GPT-5o, it's been pretty good. Like I've been pretty happy with it. I don't think I said it on the show, but I'm going to say it here now. I am not coding on Wednesdays anymore. So I'm going to stop doing anything with my code on Monday, probably Tuesday. I'll probably do some stuff on Monday, but after Tuesday, I'm done because I need the program to work on Wednesday and Thursday. And I completely broke things on Wednesday of this week. So, yeah, that was not fun. But what I will say is I've been having GPT-5 iterate through my current code and clean up a lot of the test scenarios that Claude Sonnet 4 has created, because that's what I've been primarily using for coding. Also have it clean up some of the incomplete functions that are throughout my code and help streamline the code to make it easier to understand and to run. Because there were some Pi files that had over 2,000 lines of code, and I'm like, there's got to be ways we can simplify this. Now, there are, and there aren't in some instances. It just depends on what we're trying to do. It's been fairly reliable. It does appear to take one request for each message that each back and forth message that you have with the AI. So if I send it a message and tell it, can you go through and clean up the menus? There's a few extra menu options that aren't needed. Ask me if you have any questions. And it comes and goes and does that and then comes back and says, here are the menu options I want to remove. Are you okay with me removing those? You type yes, and then it goes back and does it. That'll be 2 requests because you had 2 messages sent to it and it sent you 2 messages. You get, I think, 300 messages per month on the GitHub Copilot $10 plan. After that, it will either stop working or you can add a budget that allows you to go over that 300 messages. And I don't know the exact rate, but I spent $12 over last month because honestly, I was getting used to it. And I think this month will be slightly less. We're on today's what, the 9th? Yeah, it's the 9th. Yeah. And I'm 30% of the way through my usage this month already, which is a little excessive. I admit it is a little excessive, but GPT-5 is new. That's what I'm putting the blame on. You can also go up to their other plan, which I think is $40 a month, and that will give you access to Opus 4.1, I think it is, but only in Ask mode, not in agent mode. So that's the gotcha with that.
But
it does also give you more requests.
Yeah, only in what mode?
Ask. Oh, ask.
Okay.
ASK. Ask.
It's like, wait, what is that mode?
Children, go ask your parents.
That sounds like a Grok feature right there, not a Opus.
Yeah, ASK mode. So you can't put it in agent mode, which means it can't do stuff for you. It can guide you, which is okay and good, but
it won't make code changes for you.
I want you to go make code changes for me.
Yeah. Like, show me, like, right now I got code running in the terminal with Claude. I don't like Codex, by the way, just putting it out there. I actually played around with it a bit today. So it doesn't look like it's giving me 5 yet over the API, because that uses the API. It's not using, like, the GPT.
I wonder if you have to go enable it. Because 5 should be available over the
It's
API.
possible, but I just don't like the interface of it. Like, it's not even what it does. Like, yeah, I just don't like the way it works.
But you do like Claude Code?
Yeah, Claude Code is decent. Now I'm going to try Copilot. Copilot does have one of these command line tools too, so that could be different. I have it installed, but I haven't set it up. But right now I'm running code, so it's writing a view in PHP for a episode. So how episode would be presented, and I'm going to make I'm going to make changes to what it did because I told it what I wanted to do, and then it just created a bunch of files. But it shows you the code of the files in the terminal, so like you can look at it and just say, "Yeah, I want you to do that too." No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that too.
So VS Code and GitHub Copilot on Mac will work well together. So you don't have to install Windows just to use GitHub Copilot. I heard someone today on YouTube with voiceover vibe coding on the Mac, and it seemed like a pretty clean interface. So I was going to play with it a little bit on the Mac.
Yeah, it works. It worked. I just hadn't spent I don't say my problem with it. My lack of usage of it is mostly just because I have to get comfortable with VS Code itself because I haven't spent enough time in VS Code. So commands I don't know, I end up doing a long way around to navigate the stuff sometimes. I'm like, wait, what did it say? Do what? How do I get over there? Wait, I don't know. Crap, I'm in the wrong spot. Wait, what happened to my file window? Like stuff like that happens. Like it's just a little bit more work only because I have not used VS Code extensively on the Mac. Like I've never set it to be like my default text editor, and that's what opens when I'm writing Markdown or whatever like that, which is something I probably should do. But oftentimes I just really need to get something done real quick. So it's like I don't have time to learn this while I'm trying to also be productive. So I just got to find the time to spend with VS Code to get comfortable with it and how it works. And then, but the Copilot stuff, yeah, I've used Copilot on the Mac with VS Code before, before Agent Mode was out. So where we make suggestions or guide you to what you needed to do. Produce a code snippet that you could copy and paste, but it wouldn't, paste it in there for you. And it was reasonable. I said, it's just, not being super familiar with VS Code, it was taking me longer to do a thing. I sat down one day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to vibe code a Copilot extension that hooks up to the API for Nova.
Saturday, the 16th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Jeff and I think a couple of other people are doing a 4-hour-long VS Code, in-depth, familiarizing yourself with VS Code. And that's all they'll be talking about. Send an email to community@acb.org if you want to participate. But this coming Saturday. So,
yeah. Can I get a recording?
Probably.
Because, yeah.
Since I'm the one streaming it, probably.
Because, what I'm going to be doing. What did you say, 1 o'clock?
1 Eastern, so noon
1
your
Eastern,
time on
so it'll
Saturday.
be noon my time. Yeah, I might be doing the thing.
Do you put Braille on your vending machines?
No.
Have you thought about it?
I have considered it, and there are reasons I haven't done it.
Just something I was thinking about when I was at a vending machine today. Like, I wonder if Demasi puts Braille on his vending machines. Because these people sure as hell didn't.
Nah, and one reason I don't do it now, the one place I probably could do it would be because most of a large number of my machines are not publicly accessible. Like they're for the employees of whatever business that they're in. And none of those people are blind, for one thing. Also, in some cases, I'm still making changes. Like I'll switch something out. So that means I'll be constantly changing the Braille. On the drink machines would be the easiest place to do it. For the snack machine, like that would be more likely would need to generate a list of what's in each number. Like, what do you press? Like, press 10 for, barbecue Lay's chips or whatever, or press 12 for, hot honey chips, which I got to see if those are actually going to sell or not. Be interesting.
Hot honey chips. Interesting. I don't know that I've heard of these. I would try them.
Yeah, I'm hoping everybody else is going to feel like that because apparently hot honey seems to be a popular thing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are putting it on everything. So
Chipotle has a new hot honey chicken, I think. So, it's popping up everywhere. Spicy and sweet.
So I figured I would try those to see if they sell, especially on the college campus, because students, young people.
You have an ALCC license, Alabama liquor something license, so you could sell liquor from a vending machine. I don't think that's legal in the U.S. yet.
Probably not.
That'd be good for a college campus.
Yeah, possibly. But you have to figure. So the problem you have to solve there is you got to deal with the ID thing, right?
Yeah, but real IDs, do they not have chips in them that you could scan? Because if they don't, that's a stupid oversight on.
We're talking about a thing that our government decided needed to be done. So what do you think? Yeah. You have one of these real IDs. Does it have a chip in it?
I don't know if it does. It has a star on it.
But no, that's not the only problem.
I lost my ID. Well, I lost my whole wallet. I was looking for that today.
The problem there would not just be, because even if the ID had a chip, like what's to stop Nicholas from stealing your ID and going to the vending machine, right? You still got to verify the person that's holding the ID is the person that the ID belongs to. So,
interesting video I came across on Facebook today, posted by Fox. This consumer was surprised that when they went to, I think it was a Hilton, and they were checking in, it was a TV screen that they checked in on, and the person worked remotely. The guy even asked him, he's like, are you like back there behind the counter, or? And he's like, no, I work remotely. And they had him put his ID on the little ID scanner. It snapped a photo, and then he was able to the remote person was able to issue the print commands to print the 2 keys. And I'm like, yep, that doesn't surprise me. And eventually it's not even going to be a remote person. It's just going to be an AI.
Which is going to suck when I got to check into a Hilton at some point. That's what really concerns me about a lot of this stuff. Like, it doesn't concern, that at least is not, privacy invasive. Going back to the vending machine example with alcohol or cigarettes or anything like that, where you got to show ID, is you would get into the weird, now we got to do a facial scan stuff. And I'm just not comfortable with the tech because, one, I don't feel that it's good enough every time. Like, the percentage of success versus failure or misidentification is much too, the failure rate is much too high for my comfort level at this point. 2, I definitely don't trust any of the companies that are behind the facial recognition software at this point either. So, yeah. There's that issue with what you just described for the Hilton. Like, I could see that's interesting because that actually opens up more jobs or opens up that kind of job to more people, for sure, provided they don't offshore all of them. But hey,
yeah.
But going to just I think about it the same way I think about self-checkout. Self-checkout is completely, at least in my experience, I've not found one or heard that there may be some out there that people are testing or something, but I've not used one or been near one that was accessible. So I go to the Hilton and I need to check in. You can't screwed.
Yeah. And my thought, where my mind went was, well, how are you from Georgia going to help me in Florida to my room?
Yeah. There's that aspect too. Like, where's the customer service? We're talking to Hilton. We ain't talking like a Motel 6 or something. Like,
yeah.
Hiltons ain't cheap.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not a Marriott person. I'm just going to put that out there. It probably doesn't matter for anything, but I have stayed at now 2 Marriotts, and I don't necessarily, I care for the Hilton more than the Marriott. I'll put it to you that way from my experience. I still do have the Bonvoy Edge or whatever account. For Marriott. Bonvoy? Yeah, that's it.
Marriott Bonvoy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do have the account.
I don't understand these hotels, at least with airlines. I know if I fly 500 miles, for example, most of the time I'm going to get 500 miles. And if and of course there's bonus miles and stuff like that. If I want to book a free flight, it's like 12,500 miles. Now, full full transparency, I have not done a lot of research, but I was looking at Marriott, and it's like, you've got 20,000 points. And I'm like, okay, I haven't spent that much money with Marriott or that many nights. Does that mean I can go get a room? It's like, nope, you got to get 80,000 points. I'm like, this doesn't even make any sense to me. Can I get some money off of my room? Nope, you need 60,000 points for them. I'm like, okay, well, I guess.
So what's the point, right? Like, because I got a ton of, what is the other one? Holiday Inn, IHG. I got a ton of IHG rewards, and I can't do nothing with them because it ain't enough to do anything with. At least by the time
they expire.
Right. I was going to say, by the time I actually need them, they're not going to be there anymore.
So if you're playing the point system, please send an email to feedback@technicallyworking.show, because I want to know how people are doing this. It might mean that I need to stay more places more often, which I'm okay with, but I want to stay with purpose.
Right. I want my stays to be intentional. Like if I'm picking a hotel, if I have a choice, right? Let's say I have a choice between a Marriott hotel or a Hilton. Like I need to pick that based off intentionality. Like what is going to benefit me the most? And I think one way to get more benefits is going to be to get one of their credit cards, right? Like that'll be one way that'll help, because oftentimes you're going to get points when using the credit card elsewhere. Like I've noticed with a lot of them, and I'm not saying specific about those two, but I just noticed with a lot of credit cards, you get points for meals at a lot of places. Like even if you're just, doing a drive-by at the awful McDonald's because you still really like their fries and hope that they put salt on them, you get a couple of points there.
Right. Yeah.
And those add up. Yeah, those do add up.
So maybe that's the thing. Maybe looking at it differently and actually go after and get one of their credit cards and use that.
The problem, at least for me, because I don't. This is probably going to change. I can foresee avenues where this is going to definitely change over the next couple of years. But as of right now, short term, I don't see myself traveling enough that either one of them is going to super benefit me. But also, I don't have the flexibility of where I'm going to stay, because usually now when I'm traveling, it's because it is a event, and the event committee are the ones that decide where you're staying. Like, for example, New Orleans this year for NFB National, it was a Marriott. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any say whether or not there was. In both hotels they had, like right there were Marriotts. I don't know if any of the overflows may have been Marriotts, but probably so. Me preferring the Hilton, that doesn't benefit me unless I'm going to go pay to stay at the Hilton and then pay to travel from that Hilton to the Marriott, right? No, I'm going to stay in the Marriott.
One of the pros of ACB right now is I know that through 2032 minus I think 1 or 2 years they'll be at Hyatt's. So I'm confident with getting an account with Hyatt.
Owned by
Hyatt Regency.
Yeah, but they're owned by one of these two that we're talking about now, though.
I don't think they are. I think they're their own.
Or they part of IHG.
I don't know. I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh crap! You're about to do what I was going to do.
Chat GPT. I'm going to ask GPT-5 who owns Hyatt Regency, and we'll see what it comes back with. It says Chat GPT is generating a response. Chat GPT says, I misspelled it.
You misspelled it?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have been able to handle that. Gee.
Well, it did. It did. The first line was, it sounds like you're asking who owns Hyatt Regency. And it says Hyatt Regency isn't a standalone company. It's a hotel branded under the of Hyatt Hotels Corporation, a major global hospitality company. For a bit more clarity, and lists are still broken in Safari. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Okay, so they may be the lone standalone that still is out there by themselves, because most of the other hotel, like the brands that who owns the Hyatt Hotel? There isn't a single owner. Man, come on, you know what I meant.
I just asked it, who owns Hyatt Hotels? ChatGPT is generating a response. ChatGPT says, oh. Okay.
So yeah, they are still standalone by themselves. They have not been taken over by Hilton, Marriott, or whoever the parent company is of IHG, because I forget now. Yeah, for now, they're still holding out. But like the W, for example, is now up under, I think, IHG, either IHG or Hilton. And
I need to become friends with the Pritzker family.
Yeah, that's the thing. I saw that. But yeah, I just discovered here recently, like it is, you think about it, but you don't realize sometimes how many individual large companies own a lot of these other companies that we grew up with as their own standalone brands. Like Marriott has taken over a ton of hotels that used to be independent. Hilton has taken over a ton of hotels that used to be independent. Pepsi owns Frito-Lay now.
I think you've mentioned this to me before.
Did I? I feel like I just learned this the other day, but maybe I did.
I was going to say, I have not known that for long, so I don't know how long it's been the case, but that's interesting, though, because that's what happens when you shut your whole country down and then everyone stops going out and buying stuff, and then companies want to sell themselves. Vicious.
I don't even think that's the problem. I just think there's not enough oversight. Like we hear about it, and we see a lot of it happening when a tech company is trying to acquire another tech company. We don't, I feel like, get any sort of that level of oversight or investigation into the harm that this may do when, Clorox Bleach wants to buy crap, what did I just find out Clorox owned? I can't remember now. Well, apparently they owned it for a long time. No. Well, like when Johnson & Johnson buys up everything, right? They own all the stuff in that space. Like they own all the personal care brands pretty much. Like that shouldn't be possible.
And they're still they're different names. So
they're still their different brands. So you don't know it, but they're all owned by Johnson & Johnson, which is ridiculous and isn't supposed to happen. And that's what monopoly, the antitrust law is supposed to be used for, is to stop things like that happening. Now, first off, if I really have a problem with Johnson & Johnson, guess what? Crap I can do about it, because if I want any self-care products, that's where I got to get them from, unless I make them myself. But it's also interesting the way companies get bought and the way that mergers happen. Sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't. I still feel like the Meta, at the time it was Facebook, the Facebook purchase of WhatsApp should not have been allowed to go through. But it's done, right? Now, I don't know why 8 years later they were like, oh, we're going to investigate this now. It's like, but it's done. Like at this point, you can't even really unravel that, because Meta has merged all the back end code, and like it will be, I, as Meta's lawyers, would advise that we're going to claim hardship for the improbability of us even detangling everything that has now become a part of one monolithic company. But nobody investigated this or did anything about this. Like there was no SEC, we're going to investigate this before we allow this to go through. We're going to hold this up and see, like, how does this damage a thing? And it's like, well, let's see. One question you could ask Facebook 10 years ago now at this point is, so you're wanting to buy WhatsApp. Are you going to kill Facebook Messenger? Well, no.
Yep.
Well, I don't think you need to buy WhatsApp then, because at that point, it really seems like you're just trying to crush a competitor versus, we're going to incorporate what they're doing to make our thing better. No, you're going to try to run two separate messaging apps. We're not going to let that happen.
That's what it's turned into. So here's, so I don't know if you want to talk about this, but you mentioned something to me last week about WhatsApp and encryption. And after you mentioned that to me, I started getting ads on Facebook that says, not even WhatsApp can read your messages. Looking for end-to-end encrypted messages? Download WhatsApp. And I'm like, this is ironically weird.
So I actually heard some ads like that on Double Tap. Which I was just at the moment was kind of like, oh, they got ads. So I was kind of still hung up on it. Like, hey, all right, man, they got advertising. Yeah. They're getting some money in now. So I wasn't really picking apart the ad to be like, hey, wait a minute. Are you serious? So I haven't done any further research into this, and I'm behind on any podcast that would probably get into this into any sort of detail. But the essential wrap of it for me is there was a bug in the way that PDFs were rendered on iOS. So this was most clearly shown when you received a PDF in Messages and in WhatsApp. From my understanding, I don't know if it affected any other applications, but those two are the ones that were highlighted. Apple supposedly patched this bug at some point. Well, no, Apple's gonna patch. I think they just have patched it like here recently, but at the time I heard about this, they hadn't patched it. They were also kind of saying it wasn't an issue, which is a different conversation. WhatsApp says, oh, well, we fixed it by pushing some server-side code, pushing code server-side into the app. So that solved the problem, which is perfectly fine. Like from that perspective, because a lot of apps work like that. Facebook especially. I think Facebook was probably one of the first apps that did they would update their app in the App Store for specific things, but a lot of updates to Facebook itself would happen just from the server. Because you could close Facebook and go to sleep and look one way, and you wake up the next day and open Facebook and it looked completely different, and there was no App Store update, right? So they were one of the first companies that I knew of that were doing a lot of server-side updates and changes to just the way the app worked, functioned, etc. Which is a whole nother vector of problems, but we ain't talking about that. Here's my problem with the whole WhatsApp thing, though. How do you know I got a PDF? To be able to, like, how can you fix the code? How can you fix the problem? Like, so the way it was explained, and again, I haven't done enough research into this since then to find out like the further details, but essentially the explanation I originally heard was that came from Meta, somebody that works on WhatsApp. The explanation was that they were fixing the issue by re-rendering or handling the rendering of the PDF server side before it was delivered to you in a message. What that says to me, at least the way that they said this, and I'm not going to say 100% certain because the wording could have been different enough, but I'm pretty certain that this is what they said. So it's not like, oh, we pushed some code to the app that closed that vulnerability. It's like, no, we are re-rendering the PDF. We're rendering the PDF server side and then sending it to you so that the bug that is affecting PDF rendering in messaging apps on iOS doesn't get you, right? Doesn't create a hole for you, which means you're able to tell that there's a PDF attached to my message. How are you doing this if the entire conversation is supposed to be end-to-end encrypted and you can't see anything? You can't fix a thing if you're doing this. I don't understand. And I think, what was the example I gave you? It's like me saying, Mike, I know I don't have a key to your house and I don't even know your address, but I rearranged your kitchen for you so it'll be easier for you to get to the microwave. Well, how did you do this if you don't have a key to get in my house in the first place to even know where my microwave is to move it?
Questions.
I should catch up at some point on security now. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to cover it. If he doesn't, then I'll start digging because I do kind of want to answer to that because I've started using WhatsApp a whole lot more. And I have a problem with that. Like, I don't like the explanation that was initially given. Now, it could have been fair enough to Meta and the WhatsApp team that the reporter who wrote this up, because I don't know if now that's what I don't remember, which is why I'm willing to give them a little bit of leeway here. Don't remember if that was a post put out by a WhatsApp, like the WhatsApp CTO or whoever, or if it was a supposed quote written by a reporter after talking to WhatsApp. Because those are different, right? If this came directly from someone who works on WhatsApp, then yeah, we got a whole lot of questions. If this was a quote written in an article, the reporter could have written something slightly wrong. Because again, we all know that putting a comma or not putting a article or adjective in the right place in a sentence can completely change the meaning of it. So we'll find out, but questions. But I am concerned. And I'm looking at Signal now. And I'm like, maybe I'm going to be that guy. Like, you can't talk to me unless you're using Signal. Oh, no. Have we talked about this theory? Well, not theory. Have we talked about this wish list thing of mine for iMessage and RCS? I feel like I've had this conversation. I don't think we've had it on the show. Okay, so here's what I would honestly at this point, because Apple is working with the GSMA, I think is what it is. That's the the group that writes the specs and all of that stuff, publishes the specs and all of that for RCS messaging. And that's who Apple chose to work with to get encrypted RCS messages working instead of just using the custom thing that Google built on top of it that they were using, which makes sense. Get it published in the standard so everybody can use it instead of having it be a thing that Google made. Not that there was a problem with Google's code, just that Google created that, but it's not a part of the spec, right? It's kind of like when Apple goes and does weird stuff in Safari instead of following the web guidelines, following the spec,
Right.
published by, yeah, it's like that, right? Because WebRTC should work and there should not be a problem at all with hosting or joining a CleanFeed session or a Riverside session in Safari. But because Apple refuses to follow the specifications that have been put out for WebRTC, we have problems. So, this did not exist. Like there was no encryption layer. There was no encryption standard for RCS messaging. So Google made their own because Google was impatient. It was like, we ain't waiting on this standards group to do it. We're just going to do it. And now if you're on Pixels and you're messaging somebody else on a Pixel, they'll be encrypted, just like iMessage. Well, Apple's like, nah, we're not going to use Google's thing. We're going to work with the standards body and actually get this added to the specification for RCS. So then everybody will have encrypted messages, which is a right way to go in that particular instance. I also understand why Google did what they did. So now that's there. So I'm sending encrypted messages to people. It's great. It's awesome. It tells me, oh, send encrypted messages. I'm like, all right, it's cool. My RCS messages are encrypted. Now, Apple's added some new stuff to what, they've not added new stuff to WhatsApp. That would be interesting. They have added new stuff to iMessage, of course, come and go for iOS 26 and I'm assuming Mac OS 26 as well. Here's what I would honestly like to see Apple work on. And they wouldn't talk about it before they did it, but this is what I think they should do because this would make the world of messaging a much better place for everybody. Scrap iMessage and go all in on RCS. But the same way that Google was able to build their custom encryption in so it worked pixel to pixel, didn't necessarily work, to my knowledge, didn't work pixel to Samsung or pixel to LG, but it worked pixel to pixel because Google's messaging app contained the code for the encryption. Is that making sense? Like Google's messaging app. So I'm guessing if you downloaded Google's messaging app on another manufacturer's device, you would also have that same ability. But you were using Samsung's default messaging app, you wouldn't have the encryption between, right? So the same way Google was able to add custom stuff to their app for messaging for RCS, Apple could add their custom stuff for reactions and Apple Pay and whatever other apps they want to add, right? So they still have that on iOS, and you can only do Apple Pay to Apple Pay on iOS, as that works now with iMessage. But if they were to buy all the way in on RCS, one, it would greatly improve messaging for everybody, not just Apple customers and not just for me personally, because then I could probably have one account that I could sign into on different devices and get all my messages, which would be awesome. Yeah. But everybody could do that, right? It wouldn't be tied to just me. Right. You could go to messages.google.com on Windows and sign in with your Apple ID. And hey, now your messages from your iPhone will show up on your Windows or something, right? That sort of thing could be possible. But the other thing it would do is everybody would be using the same underlying infrastructure and specifications. So therefore, the improvements that make sense for everybody, it's kind of like what Apple's doing with Qi, right? Apple does stuff with MagSafe and then they push that out and that gets adopted into the Qi spec, right? Yeah. Maybe not everything, maybe not every time, but it generally benefits Qi as a whole to have Apple be a part of that. I would like to see them do that because it would also infinitely make their lives easier. It would make a lot of problems go away where people are like, well, you're going to have to open up iMessage or you're going to have to do blah, blah, blah with iMessage, right? It makes that kind of stuff go away for them. That's one benefit for them. And it would be a better situation. It's kind of like they started off with Lightning because such a connector did not exist when they made Lightning. They're now on USB-C everywhere because clearly USB-C is a standard that is superior and it works the way they want it to work. It's slim. You can plug it in either way, yada, 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 right? So eventually they had to, they gave up Lightning on the phones were the last thing to go. But, when they made Lightning, the Lightning connector, what was the standard connector at that time for charging anything that was a mobile device or something was micro USB. And geez, nobody wanted to use that.
Nope.
I still hate now when I open a package or open something that's got a freaking micro USB cable. I swear.
Our camera is micro USB, and I got to go hunt down a micro USB cable every time we have to charge it. Luckily, we now have one behind the soundbar. As long as no one moves that, I know where one is, so I can charge that camera once every couple of months.
So I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Like they've settled on USB-C and taking all the advantage of that and yada, yada, yada. Same thing with Qi. I feel like they should do that same thing with RCS and just move all their stuff over. You still can build on top of it. Again, it makes some of the EU problems go away, it makes some of the antitrust stuff go away because you're not going to have to open up your platform of iMessage in any sort of way, which I still don't know how I feel about somebody telling me that, oh, this messaging app that you built for your platform, yeah, you got to put it on Windows now. It's like, what the do you mean? But if they go to RCS, it solves all of that. It means all the work they're doing to improve security would actually be fed back into RCS, which again benefits everybody, makes everybody else more secure. It's not just an iMessage thing. And it might actually be able to move the industry away from sending text messages for the companies that still insist on having to send you a text message for stuff and make them go to RCS because they can guarantee at that point that it's going to work everywhere.
Yeah, no matter the device that the recipient is on.
Right. So I would like to see that. And I could absolutely, and then there's other niceties that they could add there as well. For example, it could be possible to use my Apple Cash to send somebody money in Venmo, right? Like that's another thing they can add on. Yeah.
Instead of, hey, I have to Cash App you because I can't Apple Pay you.
So there's that. There's my wish. Like, I know it's not a thing we're going to see this year, but it's something I feel like that they should be working on. I think smart money would be for them to work on that because, again, it solves a lot of problems and it allows Apple to come out and make this grand announcement that, when we launched iMessage, I can already see the announcement. When we launched iMessage, there was not such a service. All the world had was SMS, and SMSs were expensive. iMessage just used the data that you were already using to connect to check your email and browse the internet and play your music.
Stayed connected always. You didn't have to have service. Now we have, but things have changed, and so have we. Something like that. I don't know. They'll figure out some way to say that. It was like now, due to RCS and Apple working with the GSMA and yada, 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 we worked with them to bring encryption so that not just one company had encryption for their RCS messages, but everybody using RCS has encryption. And now today, we're announcing that iMessage is now going to be all RCS. So messages on your iPhone will be RCS everywhere, which means all of the great security benefits that we have built into iMessage to make it the most secure messaging platform ever can now be passed on to RCS messaging, which will make everybody as secure as possible forever or whatever, right? They could go do that whole little thing, yada, yada, yada. Spend 10 minutes on it.
Yep. And then the following WWDC, they can announce that, it's now possible to have a friend who's on Android or have a friend who's on that other platform and need to send them money for dinner. Well, hey, you can send it directly to their Venmo, Apple, Google Wallet. I don't think Google Wallet actually lets you do that anymore. But your Venmo, Apple Cash, no, what is it? Cash App or Chime.
PayPal? Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like that would be the following year's WWDC. All right. They could do this. You could make this happen, Apple. You have the ability to do it. And legitimately, some of the crap that they would spew, some of it would actually be true. Their security work at that point would be benefiting the entire world, not just their users. But legally, it makes a lot of stuff go away for you. Makes a lot of stuff go away that you don't have to worry about. Are you a platform carrier and the EU says, you have to do this with iMessage. You have to make iMessage work this way. And you got to open it up that way. Well, hey, all of that goes away if it's just RCS, man. I'm just saying. You don't
So
have
make
to
it happen.
say that in your announcement about it, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I recognize that. So if your lawyers don't recognize it, if somebody inside Apple doesn't recognize it as a possibility, they should be fired. You should give me their job. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. Or at least just their salary.
At least a month's worth of their salary just for giving you this idea.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I really don't want their job because,
No.
screw that,
No.
man. I'm not moving to California.
So
if you got thoughts about that, you can send feedback to feedback@technicallyworking.show. Personally, I think it's a great idea. It also super benefits me because I could just sign in with one account. That would be the other thing that would need to fix. But again, think about it though. Whether if you're an iPhone user and you're on Windows, like that's your primary platform, Mallory, you can still get your messages on your Windows computer without any weird hacky workaround type of crap going on, right? Like you could just get your messages on your Windows computer. Similarly, if you're an Android user and you're using the Mac, again, doesn't matter what.
It just works.
It just works, right? You just sign into the Messages app on iOS, on Mac OS with your thing. Or if you're carrying two phones like some people sometimes, and you just sign into iMessage with the same account that you sign into the Google Messages app, and hey, all your messages show up. What a beautiful world it would be.
Send us an email. That would be an amazing world. It would be, oh man, so nice to have all your messages everywhere. You remember Adium?
I never really used it, but I do remember it.
Adium was nice. You sign in one place, and you open one app, and you have all your messages across AOL, MSN, ICQ, all of those platforms in one place. It was nice.
iMessages, messages, or what was it? What did it used to be called? iChat, I think.
iChat.
Way back in the day. You used to be able to sign in. Like when I first started using the Mac, it was still kind of sort of there where you could sign into like your Google.
Yes.
What was Google's thing called back then? I don't think it was chat, but they were using Jabber, but you could sign in. So like if somebody sent you a message on Hangouts or whatever, you would see that message or blah, 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 Google Plus. You would see those messages, and you could sign into other services too. I just think like Adium lets you sign into a whole lot more stuff, and I think people preferred its interface. Its interface was better.
Good old simpler-ish days.
Remember when we used to really try to get Google stuff integrated everywhere because it was Google? And like now we kind of don't care as much anymore. I'm like, should I really still be using Google? I'm not sure. There are some things they have that nobody else has at this point, but there are some things I'm like, I don't really care.
So about sending us feedback, we have been trying an experiment that we haven't really talked much about. We've hinted at it a time or two.
Have we?
But I think, are you saying, have we tried an experiment or have we hinted at it?
Have we tried an experiment?
Yeah, kind of. Okay. So we've been shooting for 60-ish minute
episodes. Okay. That's where I'm like, okay, this might be news to me too. Like, oh, we are? What are we doing?
No, we've been shooting for 60-ish minute episodes. I think last week's was 62 minutes or something like that. But while Demasi's doing his little wrap-up spiel here in a minute, I want to ask you to let us know if you prefer it, if you miss the longer content, what your thoughts are. I will say from a statistic point of view, there has been no change in the download numbers. That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Well, yes, it does. It does. It means that people are not telling their friends to listen to the show. You got to get your friends to subscribe to the show, man. It's a great show.
See, he goes there. I was about to say it means that you haven't been scared away by the shorter episodes, but he's right. You also aren't telling people, or you're telling your friends to download the show. They're telling you that they are, and they're lying to you. So think about that.
Yeah. So now you need to just take their phone and subscribe them to the show. Yeah. That I think that needs to be the next step. It's going to have to happen now.
I think once we get a website in place, which we'll talk more about probably with tip jar subscribers before anyone else. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. But once we get a website in place, it's
let me go check and see what this thing is doing on my terminal. Speaking of that website. Because that's actually what I'm working on with Claude. Yes, I do want to create that. Well, why don't you just do that? Oh, I could press 2. I could press 3 and then tell you just do it and not ask me in the future. But then you'll go do something I don't want you to do and I have to figure out what you did. So, yeah, we ain't doing that one. Yeah, but thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it. We would like to hear your feedback about the length of the episodes. Do you care? And if you do care, like, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer a longer episode? Do you prefer shorter episodes? As long as you get an episode, you're good. Or are you putting your baby to sleep with it? I don't know. What's happening, man? Tell us what's going on. Do you listen to the show while you're walking your dog? That would be interesting.
It would be. On your Meta Ray-Bans.
Doing your
Because if you tell us that you're listening to our show on Meta Ray-Bans, then we should reach out to Meta and say, hey.
No. Not happening.
You better wrap it up.
So, thanks to everybody for listening. We want to hear any feedback that you have. And listen, I'm really curious if we can start a groundswell for this RCS thing. Like, I'm pushing this hard. I think Apple should do it. But anyway, thanks for listening. Again, we would thank our tip jar subscribers for supporting us financially. We thank everybody who listens, because if you don't listen, then there's no reason for us to record this. And then me and Mike don't have excuses to buy stuff sometimes. So thanks. We appreciate it. You can follow him, to have a conversation with him on Mastodon. He's Payon, Payown at dragonscave.space. I'm Damasi, Damashe at technically.social. And you can follow the bot. The bot's been slacking on his job because it was supposed to post something and it forgot. And I forgot what it was supposed to post, so therefore it really didn't get posted. But I now remember what it is. I'm making a note to myself right now to do that. But you can follow the bot, TW at technically.social, and the hashtag technically working, which we're both have as saved searches in Mona, which is an awesome app on the Mac and on the iPhone. I think perhaps I prefer the iPhone app a little bit better, but I'm not sure. I don't use the Mac app all that often.
Yeah.
And I still don't have an Android app for Mastodon.
Vibe code your own Mastodon.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that. I'm working on a website, man. Trying to build a podcast website. It needs to have, the player and the show notes, and it needs to have all the subscribe links for all the services. It needs
to have download buttons because people will want to download.
Yep, because people want to download the MP3, so we need to have that. And then we got to fix it so we got that private feed for our tip jar subscribers, who will become some other kind of subscribers when we get all that done. But that'll be the last thing to change. Anyway. Also, just to let you know, if you are telling your friends to listen to the show, we're on YouTube, so they can subscribe or like or whatever you do on YouTube. They can do that thing. Hold on, I'm gonna let Mike tell you about that part because he's the guy that knows about all that. Mike, what can they do on YouTube with the show?
They can subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified whenever we publish something new. And once you subscribe, you can. Oh, I cringe when I see this. Consume the content in YouTube with all of its glorious ads.
Wait, we got ads?
No, I mean, I don't know if we get ads, but YouTube pushes ads. Like, we don't make money off of the ads if you get ads on our content because we don't have 1,000 subscribers.
Okay, so we need you guys to help us out with that right there, because personally, I'm offended if YouTube is running ads against my content on their platform and I'm not getting a piece of that. So, yeah, everybody subscribe to us on YouTube.
Just search technically.
And listen, subscribe does not mean like they've screwed up the English language so much. All you're doing is just saying, hey, I want to, follow this show on YouTube. That's basically what you're doing. You're not paying anything. We're trying to make YouTube pay us is the plan.
Yes.
So help us out with that. But also YouTube is a good way to, cut out a little excerpt if there was something super funny or interesting or thought provoking that you want to share on social media or want to send to someone. YouTube is a great way to do that. There are also podcast apps that support that, so you can subscribe to our raw feed in your favorite podcast app, whether that be Apple Podcasts, which I don't think has that feature, Overcast, which does have that feature, Castro, which I think probably has that feature, Pocket Cast, which has that feature. It's also kind of weird to do, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm old. I don't know how to use podcast apps. Downcast. We're also in Spotify.
I always forget.
You always forget that we're in Spotify?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't. And the reason I don't is because number one, we discussed it when we set up the show, and I was like, yeah, we can get into Spotify. Let's do that thing because some people are going to listen to their shows on Spotify. But I also kind of don't like it, which is why I never forget, because I feel like Spotify has done terrible things for podcasts. They've done a lot of well, anyway, that's a later conversation. Matter of fact,
Yes.
It could be our tip jar content conversation. But listen, we're on Spotify. We're in your favorite podcast app. We're on YouTube. So wherever you like to consume your podcast, however you like to listen, you can find Technically Working. We appreciate you. This has been episode 123 of Technically Working, and we will see you next week.
And you got the episode number right.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't cut out me getting it wrong in the last episode.
In the beginning, I did not. I don't remember why. Probably because I got to the end and I edited up the end. And I'm like, I'm not going back